Well, our seniors yesterday got together and called kids, and they salvaged as much weight equipment as we could possibly get, and there wasn't much there, and took it over to the middle school, and then they were going to just clean off the field today, so they could get in and do some things in here. But the kids are just heading this all up.
Okay, and I heard that they refer to this as the Sacred Acres. So what's kind of the story behind that?
Well, it's just the field gets a lot of tender love and care, and we play on it. That's where that comes from.
How does it make you feel to know that the students kind of spearheaded this process?
Well, our kids are great kids here. I mean, a lot of people are getting bailed out right now and digging out. We're waiting to go over to assistant coach's house and dig him out as soon as we can. So there's just, it's hard to know where to start.
Think you guys can play here next season?
I don't know. I think it'd be great for our community that if we could, but we'll just have to see. Like I said, all this stuff can be replaced. Those lives can't be brought back. I think of older people, 60s, 70s, retired, lost everything. I'll tell you who you need to talk to is those kids.
Which one do you think
We're going to rebuild. I told my wife we're going to clear our lot and put our house back. Like I said, Rick, how do you replace those lives, those families? And this community is very resilient. They'll put the town back together. There's no question about that. And I hope they put the school right back up here. It's just an empty feeling looking at everything. Looking at our town. Billy, you got your stuff?
I just took up the pants.
Huh?
Pants.
What size?
Probably just large.
All right. I bet you.
Large?
Yeah, try it. It's just an empty feeling seeing everything gone. It's almost like a state of disbelief. Did this really happen?
When you came up to the school, what did you just, you look around and it's just, oh my gosh, there's so much to do.
I walked down to the field.
Yeah.
And there was already kids starting to come and parents starting to come. And they just started picking up debris, and I walked around back to look at the weight room, to see what was there, and of course that was destroyed.
The weights were still there, I assume.
Yeah, some of them, the weights were still in the room.
Did you guys try to salvage stuff immediately?
Yeah,
or was
we
it kinda
did.
waiting?
The next day we took as much of the weight equipment as we possibly could out. Same way the next day we started to salvage stuff out of the equipment room. What we could get, our helmet, shoulder pad. What do you need, Colin?
Bill?
They're in the box down there.
So that night, picking stuff up from the field, were you going inside the school and looking around, or was it that very first
I
night?
went in the school that night. I also went into my room.
What'd you see? That must have been so...
I had to crawl my hands and knees to get through the wall that was collapsed, and computer tables there, so I had to crawl through my hands and knees to get to my desk so before I could stand up to see what was there. And of course part of the roof was leaning down, the other part was gone. So you just start trying to get as much stuff as you possibly can, out of there.
What was first in, what was in your head?
First stuff that I brought out.
Get Wegmans jersey or something like that?
That stuff was all on the wall, and we got all that stuff the next day.
Uh-huh.
But out of my classroom, the first thing that I brought out was my box of playbooks that I had done.
That was just under your desk? Or?
I had them over on a shelf. And there was a little overhang of the roof that was still over that.
Yeah.
So I got those out. And, got as much of the football stuff as I possibly could the next few days, out of my room that I could save. All the AD stuff, the schedules,
Mm-hmm.
whatever I could save, I got out of there.
Did you get many of the banners and stuff?
I
Or-
got about half the pictures I was able to get. The other half of my room was destroyed, you know. But it was, you know, like I said, we were able to the next day, we were able to get all the trophies out. You know, the state trophies, like football playoff trophies, the basketball, the track, volleyball, we were able to get those.